Hello everybody, welcome to Crafty Soup. Today I have a mixed media layout for you as part of the Mixed Media Mayhem group monthly hop. And I haven't done this in a while, so I'm really looking forward to this layout. And we're being inspired by Scrappy Kathy, who I know from various online groups. And so I am happy to scrap lift her layout today. I pulled out my watercolor paper and I am going to be telling the story of these photos where my daughter decorated the kitchen for Christmas, and I called it a Christmas candy cane bomb. So this wild mixed media layout has a lot of that feeling to it, and I'm going to follow Kathy's inspiration piece pretty closely. I am going to change up the colors ever so slightly to kind of a tealy blue, a limey green, a magenta-y pink, and then a golden yellow. And I did set up my watercolor paper on a Strathmore 12 by 12 paper pad, which is available at scrapbook.com. And I'll put a link down below if you like that size of watercolor paper. And it's just a pretty simple process at this point. I am just doing a very wiggly wash of watercolor on there. And at this point I realized my exposure on my camera was off, and I apologize for that. I do fix it after this point, but at the moment I'm trying to tip it into the light so that you can see those colors better. And now with good exposure going on and a dry background, I am adding a second layer of paint to this. I'm kind of using richer shades on top of those lighter shades so that I get a little bit more depth and dimension to the project. And I did prep this canvas by drawing pencil lines through the center, horizontally and vertically, so that I could get those grids that Kathy had in her inspiration piece. And I will be erasing those later and adding in some more pin work like she had in her piece as well. In the meantime, I've added some splatters in there, and then I am ready to, and then once it's dry, I am ready to go ahead and do that pin work that I mentioned before. And now I am ready to move on to lots of embellishment layers, which Kathy is great at. And I don't do this super often, every once in a while. So it was actually really fun to do that. The first thing I pulled out was frames and tags, which I noticed in her layout. I'm going to try and keep my photos on very neutral frames and tags, and then color block all of the rest of the pieces with their coordinating colors. So starting with the blue, I add 1 or 2, maybe 3 pieces in that color, move on to each color until we get here to the red and pink zone. And at first I was going to try and keep that very pink, but I really liked a couple of the red frames there, so I did that. And then I had this little vellum pocket that I was going to put green pieces in, but I decided that is a more neutral piece, so I'm going to keep that behind my photos. Since I had already put my photos on some foam tape, I decided to put that pocket back there, but not adhere the foam tape to where the pocket opens up so that I could still put my journaling in there. And then the photos needed just a little more oomph, so I added more of that gold pin work from the crisscross in the background on top of the photos so that brings the gold a little bit more forward. And I am going to emphasize that gold a little bit more down the road. So with that done, my next layer is an enamel dots. And now normally I would do enamel dots last, but I wasn't sure how heavy I was going to go with the embellishments. So I wanted to go ahead and get to this point, and if I decided to stop at this point, then I would be able to call it good. So that was just a little difference in my process, but I went back to my embellishments and found some tabs and labels. There we go, banners, labels, and tabs, and I found at least one for each color zone. And then I thought, oh, I've got some stars going on with some of my enamel dots and my frame, so let's add some more stars in there. So I grabbed my star bin from my stash and found some acrylic stars, including a gold acrylic star, which I'm going to add on top of my photo. And since I've got a gold star going on there, let's emphasize that gold a little bit more. So I found some chipboard gold stars and added those as well. And then I remembered, oh, Kathy had buttons on her layout. So yes, let me grab my button bin, and I'm just adding one color coordinated button to each zone. And then I realized, oh, I'd pulled out the gold stars that I was going to add and never did that. So here I am sprinkling on, these are kind of sequiny style gold stars, and they look black on the screen, but trust me, they're a very shiny gold. And I just randomly sprinkle them on, and then if I have too many, I'll pull off a few. If there's too many that are overlapping, I'll shift them slightly. But other than that, wherever I sprinkle them, I glue them down. And then it is time for a title before I run out of space to actually adhere a title. So my title says Candy Cane Bomb. And I went with this cute pink alpha that I had gotten for free from a scrapbook.com order, because they always have a freebie on offer somehow. And I wasn't sure what I was going to do with that, but it turned out to be perfect for this. And putting that pink alpha opposite the pink corner on my layout worked out very nicely. And so that finishes off the color blocking with the embellishment bomb, I should say. And I move on to my tag. The tag was a little too big, so I did have to trim it down just a bit. And since it's overlapping the green zone, it gets a green ribbon to pull that tag in and out of its pocket. And then I'm covering up those staples that I adhered the ribbon with some washi tape to keep things safe as it moves in and out. And since I've got washi tape out, of course we need to add washi tape to areas of this layout. So that goes on next in all the areas. When I got to the tealy blue section, I realized I had a number washi tape. And since I had kind of emphasized a number on another piece that was the number 12, I went with the number 25 on my washi tape, and now it says 1225. And that is the only reference to Christmas really on this bit of embellishing. All the embellishments are pretty generic up to that point. So it's a little sneaky thing that if people are looking carefully, they might notice it. So a little hidden Easter egg, so to speak. So I think, Kathy is also very big with her Dottie About Flair. So I pulled out my Dottie About Flair bin, and I'm adding some Flair badges to this. I thought I was done at this point, but nope, needed that extra hint of Kathy in my layout. And that finally finishes it off. And I was very happy to scrap lift my scrappy friend and join back into the Mixed Media Monthly Hop. And I encourage you to go check out the Mixed Media Mayhem group, because it is a lot of fun. And I will leave you with a little bit of a slideshow of this layout showing off each color zone. That is it for me this time around. I hope you enjoyed this hop. Go check out all the other crafters on this hop. And until I see you next time, have an artful day.